Hey guys, it's Layla, and today I'm going to talk to you about my hair and my feelings about my hair in the natural hair community. I've literally tried to film this video like 112 times, and every time it just doesn't feel right and it doesn't feel honest enough. And I had a little script, but I'm just going to try this off the cuff and try and be as honest with you all as possible about my hair and about how I've been feeling about it lately. Before we get too deep into this video, if you aren't already subscribed, make sure to do that down below and give this video a thumbs up if you like to hear me talk about my most intimate and emotional, deep, dark secrets. As you can tell, my hair is no longer blonde, and that is for a very good reason. I think that recently I felt a lot of pressure to look a certain way or to have my natural hair be a certain way in order for it to be acceptable or pretty enough. And I realized that I was trying to fit a look that wasn't for me. This is a really difficult thing for me to talk about because I don't really like to expose my personal insecurities and my own shortcomings to anybody, let alone putting it out there for any and everybody to watch on the internet. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the overall obsession in the natural hair community. I think that there's a lot of obsessing going on right now, and it's really unhealthy. I realized that I felt really obsessed with length, and my hair never seemed to be growing fast enough, and it never seemed to be long enough or getting where I was supposed to be fast enough. And I think that when I look at natural hair videos, there's a lot of that as a theme, and at the root I think it's this effort to prove that black hair can grow long, which isn't what it's about to me. I think that the natural hair journey is supposed to be about accepting your hair in its natural state, even when it's not long. With the rise of social media influencers and the beauty community as a whole, there's a lot of obsession with other people's hair and less learning about your own hair and how to take care of it, and more about trying to get your hair to look like someone else's hair. I feel like there used to be certain people that I would subscribe to that I wasn't really getting any information from. I wasn't really learning anything from, but I thought they were pretty, and I had this idea that if I watched their videos enough, I would somehow get the secret formula to being that kind of pretty, and it never worked. And instead, I was consuming all of these images that didn't look like me and would never be possible for me, and it just started to make me feel worse about where I was right now, and in turn, who I am. I'm on this journey for the second time now, growing my hair out, and I feel further away from my goal than I was the first time. I think the biggest thing for me when it comes to hair typing is the reality that I myself, only way to really learn about my hair, it made it really difficult to feel like my hair made sense because I fit into literally like 4 different categories, and none of those categories could help me understand my hair. It wasn't until I realized that density and porosity were more important that I was able to really learn how to take care of my hair, because I was just watching people with my hair type or the majority hair type on my head, and they couldn't help me deal with low density, porous hair, and it was really hard. But I think that that's something that like people are really caught up in, is like hair typing, and like if you have this kind of hair, you can only get information from people who have this kind of hair, and there is preferential treatment for people who have a certain hair texture. And that's not a new concept. Like, people have talked about that a lot on YouTube and a lot on the internet just in general, but it is important to be able to note that this is something that's happening, and less about accepting yourself and about trading in one standard of beauty for another standard of beauty that is just as hard to live up to and live. When I have these conversations with other natural haired girls and other black women in general, I find that that's the common theme, is that in order to genuinely start to accept and love yourself exactly how you are through every phase of this process and not look like all of the popular gurus, and to not have the length and not have the curl pattern, you have to cut the noise out. I don't think that all hope is lost for the natural hair community. I just think that there has to be a lot of honesty and a lot more transparency when we have these conversations. And that's hard because this is a very sensitive subject for a lot of people, and it's not the easiest thing to talk about. A lot of times when you have the conversation about the representation in the natural hair community or the standards of beauty that have basically started to overwhelm the natural hair community today, it becomes about a lot of stuff that it's not. This is not a conversation about who's black enough. This isn't a conversation about whose hair has been discriminated against most. This isn't a conversation about who's had it harder. It's a dialogue about how different everyone's experience with their hair is. I think that there is a lot of inward work that I'm doing and that everyone kind of needs to do in order to not only be able to accept themselves, but to make space for everyone in a community that's supposed to be about unconditional inclusion. You have to ask yourself really hard questions, and I've been asking them a lot lately, and it kind of sucks. You have to wonder why you think a certain hair texture is more attractive and why you feel the need to tell women that they're jealous when topics like this come up, or what is it about these images that look nothing like you and that can't give you anything to help you feel better about yourself, but yet you still feel the need to consume them constantly in order to get to a place where you're honestly just content and you're comfortable regardless of what your hair looks like. You have to have a solid foundation to stand on. There was a long time where I felt this constant back and forth with myself where it was like, okay, do you just shave your head and make the decision to be bald for the rest of your life and not have to deal with any of this? Or do you just not associate yourself with the natural hair community and talk about other stuff? Or do you challenge it and do the hard thing and work through this process and do it publicly so that other people can understand that sometimes you're just gonna really hate your hair. Sometimes it's just gonna suck, and sometimes it's gonna be the hardest thing in the world, especially when it's at an awkward length. And like, there are some days where like I literally can't stand my hair and I would give anything to put it in a bun and not have to think about it. But this is the beast that I have to confront right now, and I can't do anything but look it straight in the face and deal with it. It's really hard because some days you just want to feel pretty and you want to feel desired, and you're constantly compared to everyone else, and it sucks, but I would rather go through it than neglect this process and have to confront it later and it be 10 times as hard. I don't know if anything that I'm saying resonates with anybody else or if anybody even understands where I'm coming from, but in conclusion, my natural hair journey feels different. For me, it's not really about the length. It's not really about the growth of my hair, but really about myself and becoming the kind of person that's comfortable looking in the mirror, regardless of what my hair looks like and regardless of what anyone thinks. I think that I just have gotten to a place where I slowly but surely realize I don't need anybody to affirm my hair or to make me feel good about my hair on my good hair days and my bad hair days. And moving forward, I want to start doing hair tutorials, and I want to start being more talkative about my hair and really share a lot of the stuff that I learned. But I also want to show you guys bad hair days and show you all when twist outs don't work and when perm rod sets aren't dry yet, and to really be real with you all, because I don't think there's enough of that right now. And it's about figuring out who I am and what makes me feel beautiful, regardless of what anybody else says, because this new standard of beauty that we're all dealing with might not be the same tomorrow, and I need to know that even when things change, that I'm still gonna be okay. I don't know if it was easy to follow or if I'm kind of talking in circles this whole time, but I feel a lot better now that I've sat down and I've said everything that I needed to say, and I was just honest with you all. I still am a work in progress, and I will continue to be a work in progress every single day. But as I am right now, I'm better than I was before, and I keep getting better every single day. So this is my hair journey, and that's all I've got.